The village of Umuaka lay quietly between two low hills, its red earth roads winding like tired snakes through mud houses and old mango trees. At dawn, women swept their compounds, children chased goats, and men gathered at the village square to discuss harvests and weather. It was a place where everyone knew everyone, where secrets rarely survived the night, or so they believed. When the kidnappings began, Umuaka changed. The first victim was Old Man Nwori, a palm wine tapper who had gone to check his kegs at dusk and never returned. 3 days later, a ransom message arrived through a trembling motorcycle rider. The sum was outrageous. Fear spread faster than Harmattan fire. Mothers stopped their children from wandering. Farmers hurried back from their farms before sunset. At night, doors were bolted, prayers were whispered louder than usual, and sleep came with one eye open. It was during this chaos that Mr. Dyke emerged as a hero. Dyke was not new to Umuaka. He had grown up there, left years ago, and returned wearing the confidence of a man who had seen the world. He dressed neatly, spoke calmly, and always seemed to know someone important somewhere. He claimed he had business connections in the city, people who understood how kidnappers thought and how negotiations worked. At the emergency village meeting called by the elders, Dyke stood up slowly, adjusting his cap. "My fathers and mothers," he said, his voice steady, "panic will not save us. These people are criminals, yes, but they also think like businessmen. I can help us talk to them. I know how these things are done." The elders murmured. The youth nodded. In fear, people cling to confidence, and Dyke had plenty of it. The village head, Igwe Okorie, looked at him for a long moment. "If you can help bring peace back to Umuaka," the old man said, "then the ancestors will bless you." Dyke bowed slightly. From that day, he became the village negotiator. Whenever a kidnapping happened, and sadly it happened again and again, Dyke was the one who received the calls. He advised families on how much to pay, when to delay, when to plead poverty. He warned them never to involve the police too deeply, claiming it would only anger the kidnappers and lead to death. His words sounded wise, protective, almost sacrificial. He often left the village at odd hours, saying he was going to meet intermediaries. When he returned, dusty and tired, he would shake his head sadly and say, "These people are wicked. They have no pity." Yet somehow the hostages always came back alive, weak, shaken, but alive. The villagers praised Dyke. Women brought him food. Men greeted him with respect. Some even said Umuaka was lucky to have him, that without Dyke, blood would have filled the streams. But there were small things people ignored. Each ransom was always paid in full. There was never a real reduction. Dyke claimed he had negotiated hard, but the amount never truly changed. He also insisted on handling the delivery himself, sometimes with one young man he trusted, never with elders or multiple witnesses. When asked, he would say, "Too many eyes spoil sensitive matters." Then there was the strange improvement in his life. Within months, Dyke renovated his father's old house into a modern bungalow. A new motorcycle appeared, then a car. When people asked how, he laughed softly. "Business is good," he said. "God is faithful." Only one person was not convinced. Chukwudi, a local hunter, had noticed patterns others missed. He had seen footprints near the forest that looked familiar. He had heard voices at night that sounded too close to home. One evening, while returning late from the bush, Chukwudi saw Dyke's car parked deep along an unused path. He hid behind a tree and watched as masked men emerged from the darkness and spoke with Dyke like brothers. Money exchanged hands. Laughter followed. Chukwudi's heart pounded. The truth stood naked before him. The next kidnapping was that of Abere, a young schoolteacher loved by the entire village. The outrage was louder this time. Dyke stepped forward again, promising swift negotiation. But Chukwudi could no longer stay silent. He went to Igwe Okorie in the dead of night and told him everything he had seen. At first, the old man refused to believe it. "Dyke?" he asked. "The same Dyke risking his life for us?" "Elders also wear masks," Chukwudi replied. "Sometimes the one who holds the rope is the one tightening the knot." Reluctantly, the Igwe called a secret meeting with a few trusted men. They decided to watch Dyke closely, not confront him yet. When Dyke left with the ransom money 2 nights later, the men followed at a distance. What they saw broke their hearts. Dyke led them straight to the kidnappers' camp. There was no fear in his steps, no hesitation. He greeted the armed men warmly. Ebere was brought out, tied and blindfolded. Dyke inspected him like merchandise. The elders stepped out of hiding. "Enough!" Igwe Okorie shouted, his voice trembling with anger and pain. The kidnappers scattered into the forest, but Dyke froze. For the first time, his confidence abandoned him. The village guards caught him. When dragged back to Umuaka, the truth spread like wildfire. The same mouth that preached peace had been feeding blood. Under pressure, Dyke confessed. He had joined the kidnapping ring years ago in the city. When he returned to Umuaka, he saw an opportunity, a familiar village, trusting people, and forests he knew like his own palm. By positioning himself as the negotiator, he controlled fear, money, and information. He decided who was taken and when. He ensured ransoms were paid quickly. He played both sides and won every time. "I never killed anyone," he cried. "I even made sure they came back alive." The villagers did not see mercy in his words. To them, betrayal was worse than death. The police were finally called. Dyke was taken away in chains, his head bowed, his mask shattered. Some villagers spat on the ground as he passed. Others wept, not for him, but for their own blindness. Peace returned slowly to Umuaka. The kidnapping stopped. Trust, however, took longer to heal. At the village square months later, Igwe Okorie addressed the people. "Let this be our lesson," he said. "Evil does not always come with horns. Sometimes it comes smiling, offering help, speaking softly. We must learn to look beyond words and watch actions." The mango trees still stood. The roads were still red. Life continued. But Umuaka would never again believe that a savior could not also be a snake hiding in plain sight.